A 29-year-old man is the city's 85th homicide victim this year, shot in his West End home late last night. A second man's in hospital after being stabbed in the same incident. The search continuing tonight for two suspects on the loose. Good evening. Police responded to the scene just before midnight near St. Clair Avenue West and Old Weston Road.
Police say the two victims both lived at the home and are related. Neighbors say the man who was stabbed is the stepfather of the man who was fatally shot. CTV's Rahim Ladani has been following this story tonight and joins us live from the scene with the latest. Rahim.
Natalie and Nathan, good evening. Over my left shoulder, you can see the Forensic Identification Services truck. It returned to the scene about 2 hours ago. Since then, we have seen officers come in and out of the home in question carrying evidence bags and as they continue their investigation, and that includes looking for the two outstanding suspects. This surveillance video captures a person running away from the same house at around the same time. A man was shot dead in his home and another person was stabbed. Police responding to a semi-detached home on Silverthorne Avenue, north of St. Clair, just before midnight Monday.
I came and looked out, saw lights flashing. Like, okay, I guess something happened and didn't make much of it.
Turned the corner and saw there's the big van. I said, I've seen that before.
That was the forensic identification truck, brought in to help investigate the city's 85th homicide of the year. Police say the man killed was 29 years old. A 58-year-old man was also found inside, suffering from stab wounds. He was taken to hospital in stable condition. Police confirm the pair are related. Neighbors say the older man was the stepfather.
Didn't really know the people. I'd see them go by once in a while. No, never had any issues.
Police are looking for two male suspects who were seen fleeing on foot wearing dark clothing. Investigators now leaving business cards for potential witnesses and asking residents to canvass their property.
If you notice anything on your property that doesn't belong to you, specifically any discarded clothing or anything else, that you contact police.
Police believe this was a targeted incident, but have not commented on a potential motive. One next-door neighbor says there is a lot of activity at the home.
Every time I come home, a lot of people come buy stuff for me, but I don't know what to show it.
The name of the deceased has not yet been released. This is the 85th homicide in the city of Toronto so far this year. If that statistic holds tonight, there will have been 13 more homicides in 2024 than in 2023. Reporting live, I'm Rahim Ladani. Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Rahim. And we're following developing news out of Oshawa tonight. A man is dead after a shooting inside an apartment building. Police responded to the building on Cedar Street shortly before 2 this afternoon for reports of gunshots. When they arrived, they found a deceased man. His name has not been released. Police gave an update at the scene less than an hour ago.
Obviously, we're all upset that this has occurred. You know, it's supposed to be a joyous time of the year, and we're here unfortunately investigating the 11th deceased party of the year within Durham region.
Investigators expect to be on the scene for quite some time, canvassing the area. Anybody with information is asked to contact police.
Turning now to a series of brazen robberies in the city within the last 24 hours, the latest case involving the use of heavy machinery.
Police say a backhoe was used to break into a North York bank in the middle of the night. Thieves making off with an ATM. CTV's Mike Walker joins us from the scene near Bathurst and Lawrence with more details. Mike.
Well, Nathan, Natalie, the boarded up windows you see behind me is where police say the backhoe smashed into the bank and ripped out the ATM. Now, the suspects in this case still remain at large, and it's not clear how much money was stolen. The front windows of this bank smashed in after police say this backhoe was used to break into the bank. They say the thieves then ripped out an ATM machine and stole cash. Employees and customers left speechless.
I'm a little bit sad and depressed, and I can't tell, I'm so shocked.
I didn't believe my eyes. How is it possible?
The brazen incident happened around 4:30 this morning at the TD Bank located in a plaza in the Bathurst and Lawrence area. No one was injured, but damage to the bank is significant. The ATM machine was ripped apart and parts were left scattered across the sidewalk.
They're very heavy, up to 1,000 pounds, some of these ATMs. But there's a lot of cash in them as well. It could be up to $100,000 in any given one, particularly those that are located right within bank walls.
At this point, police cannot say how much money was stolen. It's also not clear where the backhoe came from.
This is unbelievable. It is absolutely crazy that the length people would go to take things that don't belong to them.
It's the latest in a string of brazen smash and grab robberies over the past 24 hours. Cell phone video shows a chaotic scene inside Fairview Mall last night as security guards rushed to a jewelry store as it's being ransacked by hammer-wielding suspects. It's the second time this month the same jewelry store has been targeted. Around the same time last night, police also responded to a smash and grab robbery at this pot shop along Eglinton Avenue West near Keele.
This is not normal. It's just what the society is right now. And, you know, things are not good, so this is what you get.
Police charged 3 teens between 14 and 17 years old in connection with last night's robbery at Fairview Mall.
Organized crime are most often coordinating these sorts of incidents, and ultimately kids aren't going to get any heavy penalty. So they recruit them to do the dirty work, and of course then they get the profits from it also.
A problem CTV public safety analyst Chris Lewis says will only continue and will leave businesses with no choice but to ramp up security measures.
There's putting hardened glass of some sort in there, whether it's controlling access to jewelry stores, because it's just going to continue. They know it's an easy target now, and they're pulling it off.
Back at the bank, it remained closed after crews spent the day making repairs. At this point, no arrests have been made. There are several surveillance cameras inside and outside the bank and throughout this plaza that investigators will be combing through, but at this point, police have not released any suspect descriptions. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. In Northern Ontario, police are investigating a terrifying case of road rage that played out on Highway 11 near Timiskaming Shores.
The shocking situation caught on the victim's dash camera, which recorded his call to 911 as the incident played out.
A white RAV4. Okay, they're gonna try and ram me head on. I'm in danger. What's your vehicle? I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in Honda Accord. Honda Accord. Okay, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Why are you running into me? Why are you running into me? Why are you running into me? And you're on the 11, just yeah, on 11 going. He's gonna try and run me into the bridge. I'm in danger right now. I'm in danger on the bridge. On the bridge.
You can see the suspect vehicle ramming the victim's car in this alarming video. The man in the Honda Civic tells the 911 operator he is not injured following the first collision and is able to drive away down the highway. He says he does not know the suspect, but that it seems that the other driver is trying to kill him, begging the operator for police assistance. The victim then gets off the highway, driving toward a police station. You can then see the suspect once again smash into the back of the victim's car, forcing him across the road and into the ditch.
He's chasing me. He's passing me. I'm in front of. Ow! 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 He's gonna hit me again. I can't see anything. Yeah, I understand that. We have help on the way. He hit me.
And this video shows the damage to the victim's Honda Civic. The victim was not seriously hurt, but was taken to hospital as a precaution. OPP officers were able to stop the suspect after several attempts by deploying a spike belt. We spoke to the victim, James Turner, just a few minutes ago. Here's what he had to say about the incident.
At the start, I just thought it might be a little old man that was hurt. But by the time he was ramming into me, revving his engine, trying to drive me through the wall of the bridge, and he opened his door screaming at me. I don't know what he said, but in my head I was like, I don't think he wants to polish and buff the car and the scratches out. And after that, I think I was just scared. The thought processes were, I couldn't drive recklessly. I couldn't endanger people. I have to keep this minimized, myself and whoever this person is. You can see with my driving, I drove fast when there was nobody moving, but I had to slow down in town. Endangering other human lives is not our goal in helpful society, and I just wanted us all to be safe, and I wanted help. I work as a nurse in a hospital, and police and we have to work together to keep people safe, and right then I needed police, and I knew if I got to the police station, I'd be safe.
To other news now, Toronto is getting ready for the party of the year as we prepare to ring in 2025.
And when the fireworks display is over, the city says it's better prepared to help people get home, especially after the big crowds that crammed the city's busiest transit hub last year. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us now with all that you need to know ahead of the big night. Beth.
Nathan, I'm in the Distillery District tonight, and there's less than 6 hours to go before the stroke of midnight. People here are already excited for New Year's. The countdown with friends and family is on.
Putting it behind me like it never happened.
Tomorrow's gonna be 2025.
It's gonna be a good year, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good year.
Saying goodbye to 2024 and welcoming the start of 2025.
Well, we have an exciting year ahead of us, that's for sure. Big changes, so we're excited. We're hoping it's going to be a good one.
People coming downtown need to take note of changes at Union Station to avoid scenes like this. Tonight, riders need to use Brookfield Place doors to get in on Bay Street. Police will monitor crowds.
2025, yeah, baby.
At Mill Street Brew Pub in Toronto's Distillery District, the celebration is just getting started as staff set up the bar with party favors in anticipation of all the fun.
As you can tell from my sparklers, it feels great. So to end the new year with great energy, with the great people that we work with all the new customers and the old customers, it's going to be a great New Year's.
We're doing everybody come in, come on. First come, first serve, but we have a huge area. We have our beer hall and our brew pub and a heated patio, so lots of space. And yeah, everybody come on out.
The live music here starts at 7, ahead of the Big Bash in the Winter Village, before the fireworks go off at midnight. A place people are feeling positive about ringing in the new year.
I'm feeling really great.
Karaoke and fireworks. Really excited to spend it with my friends. We do it every year where we get to hang out together and just like to start the new year all together.
The city's New Year's celebration and 10-minute fireworks show will go off along the waterfront. Some of the best places to go are Sherbourne Common and the Toronto Music Garden to catch it all. Any wishes, any hopes, any dreams for the new year?
You know what? We wish everybody's dream will come true. Let's do that. Let's do it this year.
Can I get a Happy New Year?
Happy New Year!
And the Caradonas and the Coast!
Yeah!
Feeling happy about a fresh start. Taking public transit is recommended for New Year's Eve. The TTC, Go Transit, and the Up Express are all free starting at 7 tonight and through 8 tomorrow morning. The subway runs until 3 in the morning, with the last train due to leave Union Station around 2:30 in the morning. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Natalie, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And as Beth mentioned, hundreds of thousands of people will be flocking to the waterfront tonight to take part in the fireworks and the festivities, and they may well need to pack a poncho for the party. Jessica Smith is here with a look at what we can expect weather-wise tonight. Jess.
It will be above seasonal, but it will be soggy, so you'll need all the rain gear. But I don't think it can rain on the parade of the joy of all those people in Beth's story. And it's going to be one of those nights where you want to maybe layer up accordingly. The good news is, again, we're above seasonal, but it is windy, and we're watching those showers heavy at times as we head into the early part of our evening celebrating a brand new year. Now, we do have some snow squall watches that have popped up in and along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay because we are looking at some wintry weather there. It's falling as rain for us, but depending on where you are and how cool it is going to be a little messy as we head through this evening. Temperature-wise, it's still quite mild. We're sitting above seasonal as we get ready to wrap up the day, but heading into 2025, it gets a little chilly. Right now through the islands, through Pearson, between 4 and 5 degrees, a little windier through the islands. Tonight, we have wind, we have rain. I'll break it all down as we come into a brand new year, but right now, I'll send things back over to Nathan and Natalie.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
As of tomorrow, we are officially in an election year, and new polling has Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives hitting a new high.
And that is adding to the mounting pressure for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step down. CTV's Rachel Ayalo has the latest from Ottawa.
The Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
As Canadians wait for Justin Trudeau to make a decision about what his 2025 will look like, new polling shows the federal Liberals slipping further. Nanos' latest ballot tracking has the Conservatives at 47%, a new long-term high for that party. The Liberals are 26 points behind them with 21% support, while the NDP are at 17%.
Going into 2025, the biggest winner is Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, and the biggest losers are both Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh, because both the numbers for them and their parties are down in the close of 2024.
This as the pressure campaign on the Prime Minister to resign mounted over the holidays. The majority of Trudeau's Ontario and Atlantic caucuses have said they want a new leader. And now it appears the Quebec caucus has reached that consensus as well, prompting some Liberal strategists to suggest Trudeau stepping down in 2025 may be an inevitability.
The demands that caucus have are quite strong, and there's not really a path forward that the Prime Minister has that doesn't include a resignation.
Still in British Columbia and still not addressing the resignation calls, Trudeau today shared the Liberal Party's latest ad campaign that he's not in.
I don't want to worry about Poilievre cutting pensions.
And said if Poilievre wants an election, the Conservative leader will have to come clean about what he'd cut.
The wacko.
Striking a different tone, Poilievre taunted top Liberals for being wackos.
What happens if they run a government?
One prominent Liberal not featured in Poilievre's New Year's Eve video was Mark Carney, who is catching new attention for an op-ed talking about Canadians' desire for change and how they deserve a real choice in 2025.
The Liberals are battling, not just internally, they're battling time for a change, which is a massive force right now being led by Pierre Poilievre.
Between Trudeau's MPs pushing for a national caucus meeting and chatter about potential timelines for a prorogation and Liberal leadership race, some party insiders are expecting the Prime Minister to address the public early in January. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canadian Gabriela Dabrowski is a champion in more ways than one, both on the tennis court and in her battle against breast cancer.
Dabrowski revealed on social media today that she continued to play and even won a tournament while undergoing treatment. We get the details from our health reporter, Pauline Chan.
Love the reaction again, though, the smile.
Commentators noticed Gabriela Dabrowski's grin during this victory with Aaron Routliffe in November in Riyadh.
Routliffe, our relentless in Riyadh.
But the smile was even sweeter than her tennis fans realized because the Ottawa native had been battling breast cancer. She just revealed on social media that, in the spring of 2023, I felt a lump in my left breast during a self-exam. A few months later, a doctor told me it was nothing and not to worry. But the lump grew, so she had it checked again this past April. The preliminary results came back that day. Cancer. These are words you never expect to hear, especially for a 32-year-old at the top of her sport. She took some time off from April through June, undergoing 2 surgeries and rehab. She even described how a coach had to toss the ball for her to practice her serve because her left arm couldn't manage it. While breast cancer under age 40 is rare, it is on the rise, with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation reporting that metastatic breast cancer in people under 40 has risen 3.5% each year between 2004 and 2017. And while not many might want to tackle tennis, the Canadian Cancer Society says light strengthening exercises 4 to 6 weeks after surgery is a good way to get back your mobility. Dabrowski says, "Please know I am fully aware of how lucky I am as well, because many do not get the luxury of being able to tell their story at all." And she says her attitude towards tennis now is not that she has to do it, but that she gets to do it. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
This is the last day on the job for Toronto's Medical Officer of Health. Dr. Eileen de Villa released a farewell message today, saying it's been a privilege of a lifetime.
I have done my very best to serve you, the people of Toronto. I've sought to listen, to understand, and to act always in the best interests of our community. The events of the past few years have revealed deep inequities and injustices in our systems and in our society. But they have also showcased the incredible strength and spirit of this city.
De Villa says stepping down was not an easy decision, but she feels it's time for some rest and a new challenge after nearly 8 years that included navigating the pandemic and the many demands of the office.
College students in Ontario will be heading back to class under the cloud of a strike threat by instructors. The union representing faculty will be in a legal strike position on January 4th, but it needs to give 5 days notice before walking off the job. That hasn't happened yet, and both sides have agreed to mediation next week. The union is asking for a roughly 5% increase in wages to keep up with inflation. Mediation talks will take place January 6th and 7th, and students can expect an update after that.
Every second counts for first responders to react quickly in the case of an emergency.
That is why emergency dispatchers in BC are calling out some of the most absurd 911 calls that keep clogging up their phone lines. CTV's Andrew Johnson has the story.
911, do you need police, fire, ambulance?
When emergency call takers like Laura Fiddler get on the line, every second counts.
We need to make sure that we have our lines free for somebody who's truly in a life or death emergency.
BC's largest 911 dispatch center, ECOM, handles more than 2 million calls per year. Most are legitimate emergencies. Some are downright silly.
Someone staining your shirt is not enough for police to get involved.
No, you should not call 911 if the dry cleaner damages your shirt.
You're trying to look for a 24-hour Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacy?
Prescription problems don't qualify either. One person called in to report a domesticated rabbit was wandering loose in a park. Another was looking for help to remove a wasp nest. Fiddler herself took a complaint from someone miffed at McDonald's.
Our caller was very upset that McDonald's hadn't opened their doors yet in the morning.
She let them know 911 is not the place you report missing your McMuffin.
McDonald's not opening their door is not a police issue. This is an inappropriate call for 911.
Another hungry caller lamented the loss of dozens of avocados.
One of my personal favorites was somebody who was really upset that their box of 38 avocados that they got ended up being rotten.
Holy guacamole. And finally, not to be outdone, one British Columbian dialed 911 to alert police to their neighbor's pungent cologne.
Has there been any physical violence or anything other than the spraying of cologne?
It may all make for a good end-of-the-year laugh, but also highlights how much time is wasted dealing with these nuisance calls that could be better used getting help to someone in an actual emergency. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, trending in the right direction. Forecasters share their housing market New Year's resolutions. What to expect in 2025, just ahead.
I'm Pat Four, and coming up on Consumer Alert, did you get some new furniture over the holidays, like a dresser or bookshelf, or maybe a new flat screen TV? If you have small children in your home, you should secure it with a furniture anchor kit. We can show you how. That story is just ahead.
Nowhere near seasonal yesterday, and the same today. Yesterday we got up to 10 degrees. We should be around -1, but things change as we head into the first few days of 2025. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including what you can expect tonight and as we head into a brand new year. All those details after the break.
Every year in Canada, hundreds of children are injured in furniture tipping accidents, a risk that can be prevented for just a few dollars.
If you have children who visit, it's a good idea to secure dressers, bookshelves, and other furniture. Pat Foran has the details on Consumer Alert.
Small children love to climb, and that can lead to problems with tippy furniture. There are new standards in place to make dressers much safer, but you should still use anchor kits to prevent tip-over accidents. New safety standards went into effect in the U.S., which should also make furniture safer in Canada. Dressers are now designed to better resist dangerous tip-overs like these. But parents and caregivers need to continue anchoring furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, and televisions.
I have 2 small toddlers who climb and push and pull on everything.
Consumer Reports recently tested anchor kits available online or in stores to find which ones offer the best protection against tip-overs.
We tested a lot of kits, and we found there's a really wide range in how easy they are to install and how much weight they can hold.
Kits were tested on each type of wall material, including hollow drywall and drywall screwed into wood and metal studs. Testers used a machine to see how much force each kit could handle before breaking or detaching from the wall.
More than anything, these tests reinforce what our advice has always been, which is to anchor into a stud and not hollow drywall.
the anchor kits are available at home improvement stores, you should follow installation instructions carefully.
You should always anchor your furniture in at least 2 places. And if you can, double loop your tether because that will double the strength of your anchor overall.
Using anchor kits can help avoid tip-over accidents and give parents peace of mind. If you have to anchor furniture to brick or cement walls, that can be more difficult. It may require additional tools or the help of a professional installer. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
All right, the countdown is on. If you got big plans tonight, you got to pay attention to the weather, I guess.
T-minus 6 hours. We were talking about packing a poncho for the party. There's going to be a lot of people outside. Maybe you're waiting in line. Maybe you're going down to the waterfront. Got to be ready regardless.
Listen, we saw people outside for Taylor Swift for multiple days and the weather did not matter. So I feel like for something like this, it's very similar, right? You dress accordingly and it's honestly not too bad, but it is relatively mild, albeit very windy. So keep that in mind. You'll want to dress accordingly. But the day started off so differently. We had sunshine out there and it was really quite mild to get things going. So if you're an early riser, you got to see the sunrise. But that bit of a red hue in the sky is kind of an indication sometimes of active weather on the way. We see the storms coming in from the west. The lights reflecting, off of what you can see, and that's what kind of brings that into play. So there's a reason why it was so beautiful and red and orange this morning. Now, as we head into the rest of our evening, we are going to see things change dramatically. It's already started to rain, and we're only going to see more of this active weather into the evening. Right now, sitting at 4 degrees here in the city, 3 through Windsor, 2 out in Ottawa. Even our friends in extreme northern Ontario are relatively mild, all things considered, for this time of year. Now, as we head in towards the rest of our evening, we are keeping an eye on this active weather as this Colorado low makes its way through. But temperature-wise, we are holding on well above seasonal. For us here in the city, through the GTA, even through Bancroft, Parry Sound, they should both be at about minus 15. A northerly flow to the winds will add a bite to the air, but we're still holding on above those seasonal norms. Into the day tomorrow, the first day of 2025, that above seasonal trend not going anywhere, but we are trending at least a little closer to where we should be. We've seen this system pushing in as we've made our way through the last few hours, and it is now prompting a couple of snow squall watches along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay and some areas in northern Ontario just west of Elliott Lake. So if you are in those areas, you're traveling to those areas, please drive according to the road and weather conditions. The bulk of the system staying south of the border, but as it rotates over us counterclockwise, it first pushes in rain and then the chance of some wet snow as we head into the day tomorrow. Temperature-wise, it's probably helping us, the fact that it is relatively mild, staying at least as some rain, but still a challenge when it comes to driving or commuting this evening. A busy night for a lot of people. As we head into the early part of our evening again, it isn't going to change all that much. We're still holding on to the rain into the early part of our night. As we approach midnight, we might get a little bit of a break when it comes to the fireworks. But then as we see temperatures drop a little bit into our Wednesday, we welcome in the brand new year with the chance of some wet flurries in the GTA and really right across southern Ontario. But as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the snow starts to push out a little, but the cold air moves in and we are holding on to a really chilly start to a brand new year. As we make our way in towards, again, the day tomorrow, 2 degrees for the high. We're above that seasonal norm. But as we make our way in towards what's going to be the first few days of a brand new year, temperatures steadily drop. So I guess enjoy this warm weather while we have it. We get into your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, temperatures continue to go down, so watching for the chance of some flurries. The sun is going to make an appearance as we head in towards the end of the weekend, but the heat nowhere to be seen. Travel safe tonight. Have fun. Nathan, Natalie, I'll send it back over to you.
Will do. Thank you, Jess. You too.
Thank you.
Well, recent interest rate cuts by the Bank of Canada may spur movement in the country's housing market.
Real estate experts say the cuts could be a key motivator for first-time buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines. CTV's John Musselman explains.
Recent Bank of Canada rate cuts may breathe new life into Toronto's real estate market this spring, and while the current lower rate may be good news for first-time home buyers getting into the market now, it's a far cry from the 0.25% on offer during the pandemic. Still, it is trending in the right direction. Robert Hogue is a member of the RBC Economic and Thought Leadership Team.
We're looking at the policy rate falling quite substantially between now and the middle of 2025 to all the way down to 2%. Currently, it's 3.75%. And that will have implications for mortgage rates. And we do expect that the variable rates will fall quite significantly in the period ahead, whereas fixed rates, however, will fall, but not quite as much.
Real estate experts say the rate cuts will be a key motivator for first-time buyers who've been sitting on the sidelines.
The rates were rising. The first-time buyers were saying, why should we buy now? So they rented instead, and then they saved up money. That's why in Toronto, our entry level, which is the condo market, is so saturated with so much product. The stuff isn't moving. So we've got to get these first-time buyers back out again, and they're going to come out now that they have a little bit more faith that the economy has turned around and that the interest rates are lower, that they can afford to buy instead of renting.
Any drop of an interest rate will lower the bar and allow more buyers to get to come into the market. But still, affordability is still a huge issue.
The average price of a home in Toronto is still more than $1.1 million. Business and real estate analysts anticipate a brisk spring market, and lower variable rates will help buyers qualify for mortgages. John Musselman, CTV News.
Also tonight, the countdown to the New Year's Eve showdown. Team Canada battles Team USA in the World Juniors tonight. We have a preview coming up.
The Toronto Raptors were in action this afternoon looking to snap their 10-game losing streak against the Boston Celtics.
Pritchard with the rebound. Pritchard cut off by Kelly Olynyk. Here's Hauser, the three, and it's good. And a timeout taken by Darko.
It was a tight game early, but this one got ugly in the third quarter with the Raps outscored 45-18. The Celtics went on to win the game 125-71. The largest margin of defeat for the Raptors in franchise history. They return to action tomorrow night to take on the Brooklyn Nets.
And on the ice, the Maple Leafs hosted the New York Islanders in a New Year's Eve clash.
Pajot with goals against the Leafs, and it's 1-1. Here's Laurentian. Laurent scores! Steven Laurent gets it right back.
The Leafs regained the lead in the second period, only 16 seconds after the Islanders tied up the game at 1, and that goal proved to be the winner, with the Buds adding an empty net goal to win 3-1. The Leafs meet the Islanders again Thursday night in New York. And the Leafs were again without captain Austin Matthews, who was placed on injured reserve retroactive to December 20th when he last played. The team says he hasn't experienced any setbacks in his recovery, and the move allowed for the Leafs to recall a player ahead of today's game.
Meanwhile, the Toronto Scepters are in action tonight in the only game on the PWHL schedule.
Stacey, she's going to put on the speed. On a breakaway, Laura Stacey, she scores!
Toronto's looking for its second straight win. Tonight, the Scepters welcome the Ottawa Charge to Coca-Cola Coliseum. The teams are tied for 5th place in the 6-team league and have identical records of 2 wins, 3 losses, and 1 overtime loss. Yesterday, the two clubs swapped 4 players. The Scepters acquired forward Haley Skamura, who had 5 goals and 5 assists over 30 games in the league. Toronto also gets defender Savannah Harmon, Ottawa's first ever draft pick. In exchange, the Charge receives forward Victoria Bach and defender Jocelyn Larocque.
To the World Juniors and a New Year's Eve treat for hockey fans on both sides of the border. Canada and the U.S. will face off tonight in a pivotal game.
It's a good rivalry. It's probably one of the oldest one in sports, and I mean, you always want to come out on top when you have these kind of games, and I know our team's going to do everything we can to prepare and to be there and win that game.
Canada has 7 points in the tournament so far, and so does the U.S., leaving both teams tied atop Group A with identical records. So tonight's winner will get the top spot in the group heading into the knockout rounds. It is the 13th time Canada and the U.S. have met on December 31st at the Juniors, but the first since 2016. The Canadians have won 34 of 49 meetings all-time against the U.S. at the tournament. Puck drop is shortly after 8 o'clock on TSN.
After the break, new laws for the new year. From childcare fees to wages for gig workers, we look at some of the pocketbook changes you can expect in 2025.
If you notice anything on your property that doesn't belong to you, specifically any discarded clothing or anything else, that you contact police.
Updating our top stories, police are looking for 2 suspects after a man was fatally shot in a West End home last night. Another man's in stable condition after being stabbed. Police say both men are related. The suspects were seen fleeing the area. Investigators have not commented on a possible motive.
They're very heavy, up to 1,000 pounds, some of these ATMs, but there's a lot of cash in them as well. It could be up to $100,000.
Thieves used a backhoe to break into a bank and steal an ATM machine in the Bathurst and Lawrence area overnight. No one was injured, but there is substantial damage to the bank. An undisclosed amount of cash was taken. No arrests have been made.
Have an exciting year ahead of us, that's for sure. Big changes, so we're excited. We're hoping it's going to be a good one.
The countdown is on to 2025, and there will be lots to do, including the city's New Year's celebration and fireworks show along the waterfront, or a visit to Toronto's Distillery District. A note, there will be changes at Union Station to avoid the massive crowds and congestion seen there last year. One of Hollywood's most contentious celebrity splits is official. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have reached a divorce settlement. Jolie filed for divorce 8 years ago, citing irreconcilable differences. She then sought full custody of their 6 children, with visitation rights for Pitt. The couple was married for 2 years and romantic partners since 2005. No details of the settlement between the two actors have been released.
As we get set to welcome 2025, Governor General Mary Simon has released a New Year's message for Canadians. It reads in part, quote, "Canada's potential is unlimited. You fill me with hope for the next generation. Let's continue to build the more inclusive world and more sustainable environment our children deserve." Simon goes on to say, spend time with your loved ones, treat your mental health with the same care as your physical health. Let's recharge our batteries and keep moving forward together. Happy New Year, 2025.
And with the new year comes some new laws set to come into effect that will impact your pocketbook, from changes to childcare fees to minimum wage. Beginning in 2025, the province will cap childcare fees at $22 per day for families enrolled in Canada-wide early learning and childcare programs. Starting in July, app-based gig workers will be entitled to a regular minimum wage. Workers will also be able to receive information from their employer about their pay and tips.
Well, the town of Jasper is still healing from a massive wildfire that destroyed parts of the community this past summer.
Thousands of homes were evacuated. More than 350 buildings burned. CTV has the story on how the community has come together to rebuild.
Catastrophic drought and extreme heat, conditions ripe for wildfire. A lightning strike and this monster grew quickly, fueled by high winds. A 100-meter wall of flames traveled 5 kilometers in half an hour. It would become the largest wildfire in a century for Jasper National Park. Thousands of tourists and people living there forced to leave on July 22nd.
We're all just praying that, we don't lose everything we have. That would be terrible.
By morning, about 4,000 people took refuge in Valemount, BC.
This was my bedroom last night. I just slept here with my pillow.
Others scattered elsewhere. This couple made their way south of Edmonton.
It's one thing to listen to other communities go through this until you go through it for yourself. Yeah. And it was terrifying.
On July 24th, the flames were on Jasper's doorsteps. A third of the town was engulfed, mostly on the west side. More than 350 structures were destroyed, including the famed Moline Lodge. All that remained, charred skeletons of once special places, including the mayor's childhood home.
I had a glimmer of hope. Came to the street corner and saw a foundation. Hundreds of houses, whole neighborhoods. Just gone.
The fire was indiscriminate. On one side of the street, houses untouched. On the other, complete destruction.
The loss also touching those on the front lines.
Unfortunately, I did lose my own home in that and did notice that when I was out on my patrols. It was pretty overwhelming.
3 weeks later, people returned to face their immense loss. This man owned the L&W family restaurant. Nothing is left.
It's hard. It's heartbreaking. You work 60 years and all of a sudden in one night you lose everything.
As people worked through their grief, some anticipated this nightmare.
We knew it was coming with all the dead trees and pine beetles and whatnot, and they're weren't putting in the fire breaks and whatnot. So I think it's partly government's fault.
But officials maintain they were proactive for years, removing trees and branches, igniting controlled burns, and creating a fire break on the west side.
Steps were taken to protect us, but we simply cannot do enough to protect us against all risk.
But these winds that came and that shifted, it just changed the whole calculus.
Some locals wanted a 5-kilometer wide fire break around the entire town. One expert says it could have helped. However, burning embers travel far.
This fire, even though it was kilometers from town, was already dropping millions and billions of little burning bits of bark and twig onto the town.
On August 17th, Parks Canada declared the wildfire as being held. The same day Morgan Kitchen was remembered. The 24-year-old Calgarian died fighting the wildfire. His bravery not lost on Jasper.
That's more painful.
As summer gave way to fall, the doors of Jasper reopened to tourists.
Having my friend here from Ontario, we decided to come back up and see the mountains.
There was a placard that was in one of the shops which was talking about we value your custom, please spend your money, please help us rebuild.
Because the rebuild will take a long time and there's still much uncertainty. But the people who love and call Jasper home are resolute in returning Canada's jewel back to its former glory. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Just ahead, the countdown is over and 2025 has already begun. We look at the epic New Year's celebrations on the other side of the globe coming up. In about 5 hours, Toronto will ring in 2025 as the clock ticks toward midnight.
But celebrations have already taken place in a number of other locations around the world to welcome in the new year. This was the scene earlier today in Sydney, Australia, as they ushered in 2025 with a 12-minute-long firework display over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It stretched 7 kilometres along the harbour, where more than 1 million people were expected to attend. Countries in the South Pacific were the first to welcome in the new year. Midnight in Auckland, New Zealand, struck at 6 a.m. our time, 18 hours before 2025 begins here. And a reminder, the City of Toronto will hold its annual celebration along the waterfront tonight, featuring music, dance performers, and culminating in a 10-minute-long fireworks show lighting up the night sky.
And there could be a bonus light show in the sky for many Canadians tonight, courtesy of the Aurora Borealis. The northern lights are predicted to light up the sky over a wide area of Canada, stretching from the 49th parallel to the Arctic Ocean. So depending on cloud cover, some people could get a celestial treat to kick off the new year. So more reason to look up in the air with all the things going on.
There you go. What a way to finish 2024. Very cool.
It's pretty cool. And we might not be able to see it downtown with the cloud cover that we have, but it's still really exciting that we've got this in place depending on where you are in our country. Here in the city, in the GTA, in Southern Ontario, we have rain welcoming in a brand new year, but temperatures staying relatively mild. It is a little gusty out there, so keep that in mind. We are looking at a snow squall watch along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, stretching all the way out to Waterloo region and up towards Barrie, so take care if you're in those areas or you're traveling there tonight. Sitting at 4 degrees right now here in the city, 3 through Windsor, 5 in Niagara, and 2 in Ottawa. If you are heading out tonight, grab that umbrella, but it won't rain on your parade. It is going to be exciting no matter what. Now, as we make our way in towards the next 7 days, it is going to get a little cooler, but hey, it's a brand new year and there is some sunlight on the horizon.
Okay, thanks, Jess. Be sure to join in tonight at 11 for CTV National News. CTV Toronto will be back tomorrow with CTV News at 6.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, we wish you a safe and happy new year. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Happy New Year.